Hey, wise guys. What's the big idea? I was in the middle of uploading a video. Now I have to delay it. So let's do this quick. What's up, Benjamin? How's it going? All right. All right. Can I smash this one quick? Let's do this. What's up, Losh? All right. Let's do this. Oh. What about Beast? Beast? Oh, okay. Can we feast? What else is there? Least? Oh god, there's too many. Yeast? Yeah. Feast, least, yeast. Is weast a word? Zeast? Ceased. Veast. Neast. Teast. Alright. Fly. 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 Flying. Least. Bam. Some rude noise. Hope everyone's enjoying the Labor's Day. Oh yeah. Happy Labor's Day. Hope you're not doing any labor today. All right. President, Mother, Bishop, Bird, Clergy Member, Premier, MLB Player, Pope, St. Valentine, Introduction, NFL Player, Lord, Launch, Burns, St. Patrick, Debut. I feel like Lord is a music artist. One of those new ones, I don't know. Burns, Lord, Burns. Debut, launch. How about launch, debut, premiere, and introduction? Okay, okay. You got president. We got the Pope. St. Valentine, Mother. MLB player. NFL player. What? Bird. St. Patrick and St. Valentine. What? Well, how about there's a clergy member, a pope, a bishop, and what? A bird? Mother, president, pope, lord. Oh, Lord. Saint Valentine, Saint Patrick. We celebrate holidays for these two. Oh, we celebrate President's Day and Mother's Day, I think. Yes. All right. What is Bird doing here? Bird. Pope. Burns. Mr. Burns. MLB player, NFL player. Major League Baseball. National Football League. Are they part of a league? A player, like a member of something. A pope, a burns, a bird. Is that a thing? Huh. Oh! Oh, it's totally not what I expected. What cardinal might refer to? Are you kidding me? Right now? What was this? Famous poets. Oh, obviously. I am uneducated. I have no idea who these people are. What's up, Psyduck? Oh. Oh, you're surprised that I got it? Huh? You didn't believe in me? Is that it? Alright. Let's do this. Duck. Sigh. Lord. Lord. Poet. Space. Oh, space. Ship. Fly. Rocket. Satellite. How about a planet? Okay. Maybe it's not the final frontier. Space. So you assume the NFL and MLB was a red herring pair? Nah. She tricked you there. Maybe an empty space? Maybe a space. Maybe an area? Oh, area? A zone? A district? City? Zoning. Zoning! What? Laws. Zoning? Hmm. What about a field? What about a lot? Zoning. Spacing? Cordon? Hmm. A reserve? A lot? A field? Oh. Estate? Like a real estate? House. Zoning. Hmm. Connect. Zone. Area. Lot. What else is there? Code? Like some bylaws? Regulation? Region? Zoning? Spacing? Guild? A municipality? Maybe? What about a neighborhood? No. Zoning. Connection. Spacing, yeah, we try that. Wording. Maybe read. Zoning. Assignment? Assigning? Assigning? Ownership? Owner? Dispute? Okay, it's kind of hard. A neighbor? We had zone, right? Yeah. Fence. Border. Boundary. Country. Flowing. Flow. Node. Node. Web. Network. A node. Zoning. A hub. Spoke. A node. Separate. A node. Node. How about neuron? Oh, neuron's pretty high. A section. How about a list? Link. Curve. Divide. Division. Zoning. Two. Divorce. Some Nikki. Organization. Oh, I like that. Nope. Organize. Nope. Quartile. Oof. Graph. How about a line? Bar. Sector. Try section, right? Zoning. A node. A node. No connection. Maybe a wire. Electricity. Intersect. Plot. Oof. Oof. This is a hard one. Grid. Not a graph. A node. A network. A grid. Jurisdiction. Map. Area we tried. Mapping. Zoning. Zoning. Vicinity. Oof. We did try zone. It was a long time ago. Country we tried. Or a county. Zone. Node. Zoning. Stop. We're not in the zone. No. We're not. Outside. Inside. Adjacent. Next. Far. Parallel. Control. Buy. Go. Do. It. Zoning. Node. With. Cover. What about overlap? Near. Far. Wherever you are. Nope. Node. Gerrymander. Dimension. Dimension. Planner. Central. Center. Center. Node. Damn it. Outside. Border we tried. Boundary we tried. Circumference. Time zone. House I think we tried. What about business? Like business zoning. Office. Conglomerate. Merger. Gate. Lot. What? Zoning. Merger. Oh. Takeover. Invasion. No. Ground. Grounds. What? Arrangement. Ceremony? Zoning. Node. Spacing. Space. Try space. Empty, we tried. Mine. Barrier. Node. A stop. Survey. Wait. Survey. Craft. Logistics. Screen. Huh. What? What is this? Build. Build. Create. Huh. Building. Architect. Government. Maybe? No. Brain. We tried division, divide. I think so. Division. Yep. Multiply. How about that? Zoning. Sorting. Damn it. Weaving. Zoning. Squish. Together. Zone. Node. It's not a network. Hat. Manning. Oh god. Segregating. Merge. Oh, we tried merger. We didn't try merge. Nope. Tried intersect. We tried overlap. Union. Nope. Traffic. Nope. Combine. Combination. Oof. Draw. Sphere. Oh, circle. How about geometry? Oh, wait. Geometry? Math? Trigonometry? Geometry, some kind of space thing? 3D dimension? Overlap? Did we try that? Climate? Numbers. Calculus. Ranging. Topography. Ah, topography. Oh. Over budget. Budget. Topography. Zoning. Oh. Has to do with maps, right? The map is really low. Geology. Landslide. Topography. Zone. The territory. Nope. Surveying. Nope. Geography. Nope. Rand McNally. Huh, Nikki pulling out all of the old references. Cartography. Oh, that must be it. Nope. Position. Mining. Legend. Huh. Plateau. Compass. Encompass. Terraform? Okay. Topography. Geometry. Node. Zoning. Huh. Angle. Topography. Or county we tried. Ah! What? Oh no, it's gonna take forever. Topography, zoning. Can we try 3D? Oh. Yeah, that's what I feel like. District. I have the sounds mapped to my number keys. So I like press on a number, it makes a sound. Glass. Downcase guesses. I didn't do downcase. I didn't do uppercases. Location. That's how it is, man. Yeah. Fuck this. Shape. Shaping. Forming. Tectonic plates. Trench. Decision. Sediment. Sediment. Dirt. Canyon. What? Aqueduct. No, it's not aqueduct. That's a common misspelling. Garant. Farming. Soil. Highway. Oh. Oh god. Canal. Oh. Mountain. What? It's not region. Topography, zoning, level, river, ocean. Like a sea level. Elevation. Elevation's kinda high. A little bit. Height. Oh. Weight. Tall. Size. Ah! Size. Volume. Big. Small. Area. We tried. So count radius. Integral. Borough. Average. Scale. Scale's good. Sized. Huge. Equator. Longitude. Latitude. Dome. Place. I think we. Yeah. Oh, we didn't try place. Huge. Surface. How about land mass? Mass. Mass and volume. What else we got? Weight. Force. Do with physical location. Physical. It's not location. Geolocation. Weight. We tried. Coordinate. Did we not try that? Oof. Inertia. Node. Size. Think about size. Mass we tried. Global. Positioning. Satellite we tried. Size. Size. Volume. What else? We had circumference. We had surface. We had area. Biggest. Hugest. Size, position, estimate. Number. Try that. Landscape. Oof. Horizon. Zoning, topography, size, volume, height, Weight. Far. Distance. Fuck. Portrait. Landscape. Portrait. Oh, God. We're at guess 231. Feature. Altitude. Fuck. Amplitude. Oh? Wait. Frequency? Huh? What was it? Pitch? Tone? Well, it's still lower than size. Amplitude. Temperature. Ah, some form of measurement. Noise. Measurement. Radio. Tenor. Explosion. Hot. No. Modulation. Earthquake. Frequency. Amplitude. Wave. Wavelength. Oof. Disaster. Psyduck, you looked? No! Well, you're disqualified. You cannot give any hints now. Zenith. Motion. Apex. Oh, God. This is painful. Pain. Come on. Huh. Zenith. Parabola. Hyperbola. Hole. About depth. Length. Do we not try length? Wow. Width. Height. Depth. What else is there? Deep. Calculus we tried. Guys. About squishiness. Ah, 27. Hey. Skinny. Distance we tried. About distancing. Sizing. Frequenting. Temperature, hot, heat. Humidity. Ah. But zoning is still the highest, huh? Topography, size, frequency. Size, weight. Hardness. Hardness. Softness. Soft. Near. Bulldozer. Diamond. No. Size. Height. Weight. Some kind of measurement, right? Liter. Milli. Tower. Ah. Oh. Sound. Audio. Volume. A lot of measurement type guys. Science. Research. Degree. Dish. I mean, we're getting kind of close. 9:44. Zoning. Topograph. Signal. Depth. I mean, resistance. Voltage. What else is there? Current. Voltage. frequency. Loud. Wire. Bottom. Electrocute. Wait. Physics. Math. Measure. Calculate. Calculation. Oof. Wattage. Grounding. Flux. I like that. Conductor. Capacitance. Capacitance? Wait, maybe it's some kind of electrical thing. Okay, we have a resistor. We did resistance, right? Did not. Circuit. No. Circuit. Capacity. Capacitor. Capacitor. Conductor. Resistor. Plutonium. Regulator. Thinking back to my electrical circuits class. Bomb? DeLorean? No. The flux capacitor. Capacitance. Charge. Electrical charge. Electrical. Yeah. Not a time machine. Machine. Compute. Mm-hmm. What does zoning have to do with capacitance, though? Size. Topography. Ion. Voltage. Frequency. Zoning. Oh, zoning. Topography. Battery. Schematic. Discharge. Charge. Inductance. Huh? We did do wattage. Reductance? What the heck is that? You just made that up. Uh, what else is there? What else is there? There's nothing else. We tried all of the electrical words. Battery. What's in a battery? An anode? A cathode? Positive? Negative? Tube? Electromagnetic. Okay. Magnetic. Magnet. North. Motor. Lightning. So luminosity. Lumos. Far. Oh, try that. Brightness. Brightness. Huh. Interesting. Aurora. Bioluminescence. Oh, did I spell it right? Woo! Jewel. Okay. Aurora. Power. We try what? What? Magnetic we tried. Electric. Did we? Oh, we didn't. We tried electrical. Magnetical? We're not on Pandora. Capacitance, inductance, zoning, topography, network, circuit, map. What? What's going on? Field, electric field. Oh. Wire we tried. Wiring. Solar. How about radiation? Energy. Energetic. Oof. Topography implies the existence of a bottomography. Overload. Guys, what's going on here? Capacitance. Communication. Internet. Net. Ethernet. Charge. Fuse. Box. Ampere. Amp. Amperage. Forgot that one. Huh. A lot of electrical wiring words. Retard. Transformer. Robots in disguise. Current we tried. Guys. I just want to read and then upload a video. Primary. Do we need to... what do we do? Samantha's teasing an outlet. Coupler. Coupling. Coulomb. Someone remembers her. Wait, did I spell it wrong? Coulomb? Coulomb? Maybe Samantha doesn't know. Can you give a tiny hint that does not give much away? I don't know. Hamburger. Yeah, you just shooting it out there. All right, do we need to do a hint? I think we can do a hint, right? Not a hint from Psyduck, a hint from Samantha. Because I think he's gonna have to do it. Density! They gave it away. It must be right. I'm gonna bet my life on it. Oh! Thank God. Didn't have to die. Good job, team. Nice work. Why the zoning? What? Yeah. Zoning? No, zoning makes sense. Because density, like a zoning, city zoning. Zoning for residential. You want to zone for a dense residential area? Yeah. Makes sense. The one physical property we didn't go through. What other ones did we miss? Density. A lot of dense. Coercitivity. Throughput. Multibit. Transmissive. Oh god. All right. Good job, team. I think we deserve a snack. I think it's a good snack today. Wait. Check it out. You really can't see it. But it is a tiny mochi. A mochito. Alright, can I open it this way? Do I have the finger strength to do it? No. I failed once again. Maybe this is clearer? Ooh, look at that. Oh, squishiness level 10, guys. Look at that. Can you see it? Squishing it. Mmm. Oh, yum. There's a level 10 squishiness. I don't know what flavor it is, but it's really good. It's like some kind of cream. Zero crunch. Density rating. This is a... It's a 3 out of 10. not very dense. Happened to learning hiragana and katakana? You know, it's happening in the background right now. I want to read. I was in the middle of uploading a video. So after this, a video is coming out. Can I read the packaging? Right, it says mochi to. Mochi. You can't even read it. Mochi to. Mochi to. Apparently it's some kind of pudding. Egg pudding? Maybe? Tastes pretty good. That is a... You know what? I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10. It's a really... It's tiny, but it's good. All right, shall we get started? That's why it's tiny. Tiny things are good. Just like me. All right, so what happened last week? So last week, if you remember, Genghis Khan trying to talk to Chu Chu Chi, trying to find out the secrets of immortality. But Chu Chu Chi just keeps telling him to stop massacring people in a roundabout way. So Genghis Khan gets kind of annoyed and he dismisses everyone. So Gojin goes and he meets Hongrong and he tells her that, he didn't really ask Genghis Khan to call off the wedding of him and Princess Huazheng. And she is mad. She thinks that he chose Huazheng over herself. So Hongrong runs away without giving Gojin a chance to explain. Right? Because Gojin didn't ask because he asked the Khan for another favor, which is to not massacre the city of Samarkand. So she runs away. Gojin goes to look for her in the snowy landscape. He runs into Oh Yangfeng, who's also looking for her. They run around over this marsh that's like quicksand, and Oh Yangfeng gets caught in the marsh, and he's about to drown, but good old Guo Jing, he vowed to save Ouyang Feng 3 times, and he just can't break the vow. So he saves him a third time. Unfortunately, once Ouyang Feng is saved, he is a huge dick, and he seals Guo Jing's acupoints, immobilizing him. And Ouyang Feng carries him to this abandoned village, but he offers Guo Jing freedom if Guo Jing can defeat him. So what Ouyang Feng just wants to do is he wants to learn, glean some martial arts from the Nine Yin Manual as he's fighting Guo Jing. So over the course of a month, Ouyang Feng and Guo Jing, they spar pretty frequently. Guo Jing becomes increasingly stronger as he learns and practices the teachings of the Nine Yin Manual. Meanwhile, while Ouyang Feng, he grows more and more anxious because he's like, okay, this guy is progressing really quickly. But one night, Zhou Botong, he rushes in, chasing another strong fighter, and we quickly learn that that guy is Chu Qianren, and they fight each other. But Zhou Botong, he likes to play games, so in the middle, he starts fighting Guo Jing, making Guo Jing fight 3 people at once. Guo Jing can't handle it, and he makes a hole in the roof, and he jumps out. And yeah, and we're still in the middle of the fight, so that's the recap. How's that? The classic not communicating act. Yeah, no one communicates. To be fair, Hong Rong is like 15. Okay. All right. Stuff is popping off now. Yeah, we're pretty close to the end. We're in chapter 38, part 2. Only 2 more chapters to go. She blocked him on social. All right, chapter 38, part 2. Will you read my fanfic next? We will not do that. But we will. Next is the Return of the Condor Heroes. Oh shucks, no. I don't think I can read my fanfic on air. Nah, very inappropriate. All right, so Ouyang Feng jumps after Guo Jing right after he escapes through the roof. Where Lin Femi fights with the fan and talks a lot. Oh, I fight with possums? Hell yeah. All right, stop. Don't run! Stay and play with me! Zhou Botong shouted, grabbing at Ouyang Feng's left foot. Ouyang was startled and reflexively kicked back with his right foot to break the grip. But with nothing to anchor him in midair, he fell back down. Before he landed, Chu Qianren lunged in with a kick to his chest. Ouyang pulled back slightly and jabbed a finger at Chu's ankle. The 3 of them were back in a tangled melee again, but now, with the starlight above, the figures inside were faintly visible, and the sounds of battle outside the stone house had begun to fade. It was no longer as chaotic or perilous as before. Zhou Botong, disappointed that the fun was ending, took out all his remaining mischief on the 2 opponents. His fists turned vicious, launching killing strikes with every move. Meanwhile, Guo Jing had escaped the stone house. All around he saw soldiers and horses rushing back and forth. The clash of metal on metal filled his ears. Remember, the Mongols are fighting outside. Occasionally, pierced by the screams of wounded men cut down by sword or arrow, he pushed through the crowd and ran out of the village, finally finding a small grove where he lay down to rest. I should write something? Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. He pushed through the crowd and ran out of the village, finally finding a small grove where he lay down to rest. After battling through half the night, the moment he hit the ground, his entire body screamed in agony, his muscles sore, his bones aching. Just thinking about what had happened inside the stone house sent shivers through him. Though he was worried about Zhou Botong's safety, he reasoned that with Zhou's level of martial arts, he'd surely manage to escape if things got too dangerous. Guo Jing rested for a bit and soon fell into a deep sleep. He slept until early the next morning when he suddenly felt a cool, wet sensation on his face. Something was crawling or licking him. I hate when that happens. Before he even opened his eyes, he leapt to his feet. A joyful whinny rang out. It was his little red horse licking his face. Overjoyed, Guo Jing hugged it tightly. After all the danger, a man and horse were reunited at last. The steed had been foraging in the grassy plains during his imprisonment in the stone house. Despite the fierce battle the night before, the clever and nimble horse had managed to avoid the chaos, and now it had found its way back to its master. Guo Jing led his little red horse back to the village. All around him lay broken bows and snapped arrows, corpses of soldiers and horses strewn across the ground. From time to time, a few wounded survivors let out faint, pitiful cries. He had long been hardened by the battlefield, and was no stranger to the sight of death and destruction. Yet, at this moment, thinking of his own tragic life, he could not help but feel a deep surge of sorrow. Quietly, he returned to the stone house. He pressed his ear to the outer wall and listened. Silence. Peering through the crack of the door, he saw that the place was empty. He pushed the door open and looked around. Zhou Botong, Ouyang Feng, and Qiu Tianren had all vanished without a trace. He stood there in a daze for a moment, then mounted his horse and headed east. The little red horse was swift, and before long he caught up with Genghis Khan's great army. By now, the cities of Khwarezm were either conquered or surrendered. The once mighty armies of the Khwarezm Empire had collapsed like a landslide. The arrogant and tyrannical Khwarezm king, Mohammed, had been abandoned by allies and family alike. With only a few battered troops left, he fled west in desperation. Genghis Khan sent two of his top generals, Subutai and Jebe, with 10,000 men units to hunt him down, while the main army began the long march home. Subutai and Jebe pursued the enemy all the way past modern-day Moscow to the banks of the Dnieper River near Kiev. There, they decisively crushed an allied force of hundreds of thousands from Rus and the Cumans. The Grand Prince of Kiev and 11 Russian nobles who had surrendered were all executed. Crushed beneath wagon axles, this battle would later be recorded in history as the Battle of the Kalka River, and from then on, vast stretches of Russian steppe would groan under the iron hooves of the Mongol army. You hope Guo Jing discovers vodka? Oh. Mohammed, fleeing to the ends of the earth, eventually died of illness on a desolate island in the Caspian Sea. Back when Guo Jing had gone missing during the campaign at Samarkand, Genghis Khan had been gravely worried. He feared the young man had been killed in the chaos. So, when Guo Jing returned alive, the Khan was overjoyed. Princess Huazheng, needless to say, was even more delighted. Surely this will be the last time Russian aristocracy is killed. Chu Chu Chi, who had accompanied the army on its campaign west, urged the Great Khan throughout the return journey to be merciful and spare innocent lives. Though Genghis Khan often found their conversations tedious, he respected Chu Chu Chi as a virtuous man and did not disregard his pleas. Thanks to this, countless civilians were spared amid the ongoing wars, saved by Chu Chu Chi's words alone. Chu Chu Chi was a real figure, right, in history? Khwarezm was tens of thousands of li away from Mongolia. The eastern return of the Mongol army took a long time. Once they arrived back at the Onan River, a grand feast was held to celebrate the victory, and the troops were given time to rest and recover. Chu Chu Chi and Lu Youjiao, along with the bigger sect members, took their leave and departed southward. Several more months passed. As the autumn winds began to blow and the war horses grew strong again, Genghis Khan revived his ambition to conquer the Jin Empire. One day he summoned all his generals to the Golden Tent to plan the southern campaign. Yes, he was? Cool. Ever since Huang Rong's death, Guo Jing had been lost in grief. So he thought she died? He wandered aimlessly across the Mongolian grasslands alone on his little red horse, the pair of eagles flying at his side. Day after day he remained silent, not uttering a single word. When Princess Huazheng tried to comfort him with gentle words, it was as though he didn't hear her at all. Everyone knew the cause of his heartbreak. Understanding his pain, none dared speak to him of marriage. Genghis Khan, preoccupied with preparations for the war against Jin, had no time to intervene either. Imagine being Huazheng. Your fiance is just morose over the death of his girlfriend here. That day, inside the Golden Tent, the commanders all offered their strategies for the coming war. But Guo Jing remained silent throughout. Genghis Khan dismissed the generals and spent half a day in solitary thought atop a hill. The next day, he issued a military command to launch a three-pronged assault against the Jin Empire. At that time, his eldest son Chochi and second son Chagatai were both stationed in the west, overseeing newly conquered territories. Thus, the central army would be led by his third son, Ogedai, the left wing by his fourth son, Tolui, and the right wing by Guo Jing. Genghis Khan summoned the three commanders to his tent, ordered his personal guards to withdraw, and said to Ogedai, Tolui, and Guo Jing, "The elite troops of the Jin are concentrated at Tong Pass. To the south, they are shielded by mountain ranges. To the north, guarded by the Yellow River, it is not easily breached. Though the strategies proposed by the generals each have merit, a direct frontal assault would drag on endlessly. Now that we Mongols have formed an alliance with the Song dynasty, the best plan is to march through Song territory, attacking from Tangzhou and Dengzhou, and strike straight at the Jin capital, Daliang." It seems like this Chu Chu Chi plotline is based on real life. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. At this, Ogedai, Tolui, and Guo Jing leapt to their feet, embraced each other, and cried out together, "A brilliant plan!" Genghis Khan smiled at Guo Jing and said, "You are skilled in warfare, and you have won my heart. Let me ask you, what should be done after we take Daliang?" Guo Jing pondered for a long while, then shook his head and said, "Do not attack Daliang." Uh-oh, gonna get mad. Ogedai and Tolui were taken aback. They had just heard their father speak of a direct strike on Daliang. How could Guo Jing now say not to attack? The two exchanged confused glances, staring blankly at him. Maybe he has a plan? Is Gojing like a good general now? He learned from the book. Still smiling, Genghis Khan asked, "If not to attack Daliang, then what?" Guojing replied, "It is neither to attack or not to attack. It is to attack without attacking, and not attack, yet still attack." These words left Ogadai and Tolui even more bewildered. Genghis Khan laughed and said, "Ha ha ha ha. To attack without attacking, not attack, yet still attack. Well said. Go on, explain it to your elder brothers." Is he acting like he knows? Guojing said, "I surmise that the Khan's strategy is to feint an assault on the Jin capital, drawing their forces out and crushing them beneath its walls. Daliang is the imperial seat of the Jin emperor, but its garrison is not large. When our troops approach, the Jin will surely redeploy their elite forces from Tong Pass in a desperate rush to defend it." According to the military texts of China, when troops don their armor and march swiftly, traveling day and night without rest, doubling their pace to reach 100 li for advantage, only 1 out of 10 soldiers will arrive in time. The strong come first, the weak fall behind. This is called arriving 1 out of 10. A forced march of 100 li results in only a tenth arriving ready for battle. How much worse when rushing 1,000 li from Tong Pass to Daliang? Even if elite troops make it, they'll be utterly exhausted and unable to fight. Oh, wait. Oh, this is still him talking. Yeah, why did they not put quotes here? "We, rested and waiting, will crush them easily. With the Jin's elite defeated in this battle, Daliang will fall without a siege. If we rush to attack it directly, we'll struggle to break through and risk being attacked from behind and both flanks." Genghis Khan clapped and laughed heartily. "Ha ha ha ha! Well said! Well said!" He then took out a map and spread it across the table. When the 3 commanders looked at it, they were all astonished. It turned out to be a detailed map of the region surrounding Daliang, marked with the routes of both the enemy and their own forces. How to strike the enemy from behind, how to attack their vital center, how to lure them from Tong Pass into an exhausting long march, and how to annihilate them at the foot of the capital's walls while they were weary. Weary? It matched Guojing's plan exactly. Oh. Ogadai and Tolui looked from their father to Guojing, both astonished and full of admiration. Guojing was filled with respect and thought, "I learned these military strategies from the writings left by General Yue Fei. That's not so strange. But the great Khan, who neither reads nor writes, was born with such brilliance." Genghis Khan said, "This southern campaign will surely defeat the Jin. Here are 3 brocade pouches. Each of you take 1. When Daliang has been captured, meet in the golden throne hall of the Jin Emperor and open them together. Follow what is written inside." He drew out 3 silk pouches from his robe and handed 1 to each. Guojing took his and saw that the opening was sealed with wax, imprinted with the Great Khan's personal seal. Genghis Khan added, "Do not open the pouches until we have entered Daliang. Before opening, the 3 of you must examine one another's seals for signs of tampering." All 3 bowed and said, "We would not dare disobey the Great Khan's command." Genghis Khan then asked Guojing, "You're usually so slow and dull in everyday matters. How is it you're so sharp in warfare?" Guojing explained that he had studied General Yue Fei's Wu Mu military treatise in depth. Genghis Khan asked for more about Yue Fei, and Guojing recounted how Yue Fei had once crushed the Jin army at Juxian town, how the Jin soldiers called him Grandfather Yue, and how they used to say, "It's easier to shake a mountain than to shake the Yue family army." Genghis Khan said nothing for a long while, hands clasped behind his back as he paced within the tent. At last he sighed. "Hey, if only I had been born 100 years earlier, I would have liked to test myself against such a hero. But now, in this world, is there anyone left who can match me?" His tone was filled with a sense of lonely pride. After leaving the golden tent, Guojing thought of how busy he had been with military affairs these past few days, and how he hadn't even seen his mother. Tomorrow, they would set out for the southern campaign to avenge the Great Song's centuries-old hatred. Today, he should spend it with her. He made his way toward her tent. But upon arrival, he saw that all the belongings had been moved, and only an old soldier remained as a guard. Guojing asked, and the man told him that his mother, Lady Li, had been relocated to another camp by the Khan's order. Guojing went to the new location and found that this tent was many times larger than the one she usually occupied. When he lifted the flap and stepped inside, he was stunned. The interior shimmered with gold and jewels, overflowing with ornate flowers and riches, all spoils taken by the Mongol army from across the lands. Inside, Princess Huazheng was chatting with Li Ping, reminiscing about Guojing's childhood antics. When she saw him enter, she rose with a smile to greet him. Guojing asked, "Mom, where did all this come from?" Li Ping replied, "The Khan said you accomplished great things in the West, and this is your reward. But we're used to living simply. What need have we for all these things?" Guojing nodded. He also noticed there were now 8 maidservants waiting on his mother, all captives from the campaign. The 3 of them chatted for a while before Huazheng excused herself and left. She thought that since Guojing would be setting out again tomorrow, surely he would have a lot to say to her today. But she waited outside the tent for a long time, and he never came out. Li Ping said, "Jing'er, the princess must be waiting for you outside. You should go speak with her for a bit." Guojing agreed with a word, but didn't move. Li Ping sighed. "Hey, we've lived in the northern lands for 20 years. Although the great Khan has treated us generously, I miss home terribly. I hope that when you destroy the Jin, you and I can return to our homeland soon. Let's go live in your father's old house in Ox Village. You've never been one to crave glory and wealth. Let's never come back to this northern place again. But as for the princess, I really don't know what to do. There are many difficulties here." Guojing said, "Mother, I told the princess clearly before. Now that Rong is gone, I will never marry in this life." Li Ping sighed again. The princess might understand, but what worries me is the great Khan's intention." "What do you mean?" "These past few days, the Khan has suddenly treated us with great favor. He's given us all these treasures, so many rewards. Though he says it's to honor your achievements in the West, I've lived in the North for 20 years and know something of his nature. It seems there's more to this than meets the eye." Guojing said, "Mother, what do you think it is?" "I'm just a woman. What great insight could I have? But the more I think about it, the more it feels like the Khan is trying to force us into something." He must be trying to make me marry the princess." Li Ping said, "Marriage is a fine thing. The Khan probably doesn't know you're unwilling and wouldn't force it. No, what I think is, he wants you to lead the army south, and he's afraid you might betray him in the middle of it. Guo shook his head. He knows I don't care about wealth or power. Why would I betray him? Why would I betray him? Li Ping said, I have an idea that might help us understand the Khan's true intentions. I'll say that I miss my homeland and want to return south with you. You can go tell the Khan and see what he says. Oh, Li Ping is now a ward, a hostage. Guo said happily, Mother, why didn't you say that earlier? Going home together, what a wonderful thing. I'm sure the Khan will allow it. He lifted the tent flap and stepped out. But Hua Zheng was nowhere to be seen. She must have grown impatient, waiting, and left in disappointment. Guo was gone for a while and returned looking disheartened. Li Ping said, The Khan wouldn't allow it, would he? I just don't get it. Why would the Khan insist on keeping you here? Li Ping said nothing. Guo added, The Khan said I can bring you home after the Jin are defeated. He said that returning in glory will be much more impressive. I told him you longed for home and wished only to return south as soon as possible. But suddenly his face darkened and he kept shaking his head. He wouldn't allow it. Li Ping thought aloud. Did the Khan say anything else to you today? Guo told her about the military plans he discussed in the tent and the sealed pouches the Khan had handed out. Li Ping sighed. Hey, if only your second master or Rong'er were still alive, they'd surely be able to figure it out. But I'm just a foolish country woman. The more I think about it, the more uneasy I feel, and yet I don't even know why. Guo held the silk pouch in his hand, turning it over and over. When the great Khan handed me this pouch, he said, his expression was a bit strange. I wonder if it has something to do with all this. Wait, is the Khan plotting Guo death? I don't know. Li Ping took the pouch from him and examined it carefully. Then she dismissed the maids and said, Let's open it and take a look. Guo was startled. No, if we break the wax seal and the gold stamp, that would be a capital offense. Li Ping smiled. The brocade weaving techniques of Linan are famous throughout the land. Your mother is from Linan, and I learned the craft from a young age. There's no need to damage the wax. We just need to unpick the seams of the pouch. I can weave it back together without leaving a trace. Guo was overjoyed. Li Ping took a fine needle and gently undid the silk stitching. From the seam, she extracted a piece of paper. Mother and son spread it open, took one look, and both felt a cold chill run down their spines. The paper contained a secret order from Genghis Khan. It instructed that after the armies of Ogadai, Tolui, and Guo had conquered the Jin, they were to immediately turn south and, with lightning speed, take Linan and destroy the Song dynasty. Oh, damn. Bringing all of China under Mongol rule. The order also stated that if Guo succeeded, he would be richly rewarded and granted lands and a noble title. But if he showed the slightest sign of disloyalty, Ogadai and Tolui had full authority to execute him on the spot, and his mother would be put to death by slow dismemberment. Oh, damn. Why does his mother have to die in such a terrible way? Guo stood in stunned silence for a long time before saying, Mother, if you hadn't opened the pouch and seen this secret order, we would both have been doomed. I was born in the Song. How could I sell out my country for fame and fortune? Li Ping asked, "What should we do now?" "Mother, we'll have to endure some hardship. We must flee south tonight." Li Ping said, "Exactly. Go pack your things, but don't do anything that might draw attention." Guo Jing nodded and returned to his tent. Gathering his personal belongings, besides his little red horse, he selected 8 fine steeds. If the Khan sent troops in pursuit, he and his mother could switch between horses to preserve their strength and improve their chances of escape. Oh, damn. Alright. That was pretty cool. Alright. Time for a break. 5 minutes, I'll be right back while we ponder how terrible of a predicament they're in. Alright, be right back. And we're back. Yep, that was the Who. The song is called The Great Chinggis Khan. Who knew that you couldn't trust Chinggis Khan? Who would have thought? All of the sons of Genghis Khan mentioned existed? Yeah. Yeah, I think I remember Ogadai. Wasn't Ogadai the guy who went um to Europe and like kind of fucked shit up until he had to go back? Alright. He didn't take a single coin of the Khan's gold or jewels, leaving behind even the golden tiger head saber. He removed his marshal's uniform and changed into a plain leather robe. Born and raised on the steppes, he now left it behind for good. His heart heavy, he stood in front of his old tent, where he had lived for many years, and stared blankly for a long while. As night fell, he returned to his mother's tent. Sebudai and Jebe went to Europe? Oh, okay. Where did Ogadai go? Lifting the flap of the tent, Gorjing's heart skipped a beat. 2 travel bundles lay on the ground, but his mother was gone. He called out twice, "Mother! Mother!" But there was no reply. A sense of unease crept over him, and he was about to rush out and search when suddenly the tent flap opened, and a blaze of torchlight blinded his eyes. General Qi Laowen stood at the entrance and called, "The Great Khan summons the Golden Saber Prince Consort." Behind him stood countless soldiers, all armed with long spears. Ogadai didn't go anywhere? Huh. Guojing was alarmed. If he relied on martial skill to force his way through, Qi Lawen might not be able to stop him. But then he thought, since mother's already in the Khan's hands, how can I flee alone? So he followed Qi Lawen toward the golden tent. Outside the tent stood 2,000 elite guards of the Khan's arrow quiver regiment, armed with spears and halberds, their ranks stretching far into the distance. Qi Lawen said, "The Khan has ordered that you be bound. Forgive us, Prince Consort." Guojing nodded, turned his hands behind his back, and allowed himself to be tied, then walked into the tent. Inside, dozens of tallow candles burned brightly, lighting the tent like broad daylight. Genghis Khan's face was thunderous. He slammed the table hard and shouted, "I've treated you well, raised you from childhood, and promised you my beloved daughter's hand. You treacherous brat! How dare you betray me?" Guojing saw the opened brocade pouch lying on the Khan's desk and knew his fate was sealed. Lifting his head high, he said proudly, "I am a subject of the Song dynasty. How could I follow your orders to attack my own homeland?" Genghis Khan flew into an even greater rage at this bold answer and shouted, "Take him out and behead him!" Guojing's hands were tied tightly with thick rope. 8 executioners with axes stood ready by his side. Unable to resist, he shouted, "You allied with the Song to attack the Jin. Now you break your oath and betray the alliance. What kind of hero does that make you?" Furious, Genghis Khan kicked over his gold-plated desk and roared, "Once I destroy the Jin, our alliance with Zhao Song will have served its purpose. If I then march south, How is that betrayal? Execute him, now! Though many generals were close to Guojing, the Khan's fury left them all too afraid to plead on his behalf. Guojing said nothing more and strode out of the tent with firm steps. Wait, doesn't he care about his mother? If he dies, his mother dies too. Shouldn't he be trying to find a way to save his mother? Suddenly, Tolui galloped in from the plains, shouting, "Spare him!" He was bare-chested and wore only leather trousers. He must have heard the news in his sleep and rushed over to intervene. He charged straight into the tent and said, "Father, Goching Anda has rendered great service. He saved your life and mine. If he's guilty, he must not be executed. Even if he's guilty, he must not be executed." He may have at least commanded his army to go west. They got to Croatia or Poland. Yeah. I think they got pretty far, right? Into Europe. I mean, they had to go back. Did they have to go back because the Khan died? I think I read something about this a long time ago, but I don't remember. Genghis Khan, remembering Guojing's merits, said, "Bring him back." The executioners turned Guojing around and escorted him back inside. The Khan was silent for a long moment, then said, "Your heart lies with Zhao Song. What do you gain from that? You told me the story of Yue Fei, how he served his country with utter loyalty, yet was executed in the end. Help me pacify Zhao Song, and here today, before all, I promise, I will make you the king of Song, ruler of the southern lands." Sebudai wanted to see the Atlantic Ocean, and one of the grandsons got lazy around Russia, and then one of the Khans died. Ah, gotcha. Alright, sorry. Guojing replied, "I do not dare betray you, great Khan, but if you ask me to sell out my homeland for glory and power, I would rather be pierced by 1,000 blades and 1,000 arrows. I will not obey." Genghis Khan said, "Bring his mother." Two guards led Li Ping out from behind the tent. When Guojing saw his mother, he cried, "Mother!" and stepped forward 2 paces, but the executioners raised their blades to block him. Guojing thought, "Only my mother and I knew of this. How did it leak?" Genghis Khan said, "If you obey me, both you and your mother will enjoy honor and glory. Otherwise, I'll cut her in 2 first, and it'll be your doing. You'll be the one who killed your own mother, the worst kind of unfilial son." These words struck Guojing with such force that his courage nearly collapsed. He lowered his head in silence, lost in thought, not knowing what to do. Tolui urged him, "Anda, you were raised among us Mongols. You're no different from any of us. The corrupt Song officials colluded with the Jin, caused your father's death, and left your mother homeless. If not for my father taking you in, how could you have survived? We are sworn brothers. I don't want you to bear the guilt of being unfilial. Please, reconsider and follow the great Khan's command." Guojing looked at his mother and was about to say yes, but then his mind flashed to her teachings over the years and the miserable ruin that had befallen the people of the western regions under Mongol conquest. He was truly torn between 2 impossible choices. Genghis Khan stared at him with tiger-like eyes, waiting for his answer. Inside the golden tent, the hundreds of people present held their breath in silence, every eye fixed on Guo Jing. He said, I, and stepped forward, but could not finish the sentence. Suddenly, Li Ping said, Great Khan, perhaps this child simply doesn't understand yet. Let me try to persuade him. What do you say? Is she gonna die? She's gonna die. Is she gonna die? Guys. She's gonna die. She's gonna die! Genghis Khan was overjoyed. Good. Go on. Talk to him. Ah! I just know it. Li Ping walked over, took Guo Jing by the arm, and led him to a corner of the golden tent. They sat down together. She pulled him into her arms and said gently, 20 years ago, in Niujia village, Linan Prefecture, I found out I was carrying you. One snowy day, Taoist Chu Chu Chi met your father. He gave us 2 daggers, one for your father and one for your Uncle Yang. As she spoke, she reached into Guo Jing's robe and took out the dagger. Ah! Pointing to the characters carved on the hilt. Guo Jing, she said, Taoist Chu gave you this name, and he named Uncle Yang's son Yang Kang. Do you know why? Guo Jing replied, Taoist Chu meant for us never to forget the shame of Qing Kang. Li Ping said, Yes. That young boy turned traitor and called the enemy his father. His end was disgraceful. No need to speak further on that. But what a shame that a great hero like your Uncle Yang would have a son who blackened his name. She sighed and said, I've endured shame and suffering all these years, raising you in the frozen north. And for what? Was it just to raise a traitor? A man who would sell out his country? Should I let your father grieve in the afterlife, his soul tormented with regret? Guo Jing cried out, Mother! As tears streamed down his cheeks. Li Ping had spoken in Chinese, which neither Genghis Khan, Tolui, nor the other generals understood. But seeing Guo Jing in tears, they all assumed she had persuaded him, out of fear for her life, and each felt secretly pleased. Li Ping continued, 100 years of life pass in the blink of an eye. What's so terrifying about life or death? As long as we live without shame, our time in this world is not vain. And if others wrong us, let it go. Don't let hatred poison your heart. Remember these words. She gazed at Guo Jing for a long time, her expression full of gentle warmth. My child, take good care of yourself. Then, raising the dagger, she cut the ropes binding his hands. In the same motion, she turned the blade and plunged it into her own chest. Guo Jing's hands were newly freed. He rushed to stop her, but the dagger was so sharp it had already sunk to the hilt. Genghis Khan was shocked and shouted, Seize him! The 8 executioners dared not harm the imperial son-in-law. They dropped their weapons and leapt at him bare-handed. In his grief and fury, Guo Jing scooped his mother into his arms and swept out his leg. 2 executioners went flying. His left elbow shot backward and smashed into another's chest with a loud crack as ribs broke. The generals shouted and pounced from all sides. Guo Jing leapt into the rear of the tent, grabbed a section of the fabric, and gave a powerful yank. Half of the grand golden tent collapsed, trapping the men beneath it. In the chaos, he bolted out, carrying his mother's body. Oh, she dead. That was a good death. I think so. Yeah, I think some other deaths that we've seen in Wuxia was it's kind of I did not like, but that was a good death. She had to do it. She had to do it to force Guojing to go to not go through with accepting the Khan's deal. Horn signals blared. Soldiers mounted up and gave chase. Guojing cried out several times, "Mother!" But she gave no reply. He felt for her breath. She was gone. Holding her corpse close, he charged blindly through the night. All around him, horses neighed and men shouted. Torches lit the darkness like stars in the sky. He ran in panic, not caring where, only to find himself surrounded in every direction by Mongol troops. Though brave beyond compare, how could one man stand against over 100,000 elite warriors? If only he were on his little red horse, he might have outrun pursuit on his unmatched legs. But now, burdened with his mother's body and on foot, escape was nearly impossible. He said nothing, only ran harder. If I can just reach the cliffside, he thought, I'll climb up with my Qinggong. The Mongols might be fierce on flat ground, but none of them can follow me up a cliff. I might survive for now and find another chance to flee. As he ran, suddenly there came a great shouting ahead. A cavalry unit swept in, torches blazing. In front rode a red-faced, white-bearded general, one of the four founding pillars of the empire, Qi Laowen. Guojing twisted aside to dodge Qi Laowen's slashing blade. Rather than turning back, he charged into the formation. The Mongol soldiers shouted in unison. Guojing thrust his left hand forward and grabbed the right leg of a squad leader, then pushed off the ground with his right foot and vaulted upward. In one motion, he swung onto the horse, settled his mother's body across the saddle, and flung the squad leader to the ground while seizing his spear. Mounting, placing his mother, unseating his foe, grabbing the weapon, he did it all in one fluid motion. Now, like a tiger with wings, he gripped the horse with his legs, brandished the spear, and charged out the back of the formation. Qi Laowen roared orders, and his troops surged after him. Though he had broken through the enemy lines, the direction his horse was charging toward was the opposite of the cliff. Each stride took him farther away. Should he flee south or turn back to climb the cliff first? He hadn't yet decided when General Burhu led another force in pursuit. At that moment, Genghis Khan was fuming with rage and had issued strict orders. Guojing must be captured alive. Layer upon layer, Mongol forces closed in, while several thousand cavalry had already galloped southward to set up an encircling formation to block his escape. Guojing smashed through Borhu's 1,000-man unit, his clothes and horse soaked in blood. Were it not for the Khan's order to take him alive, the Mongol soldiers would have loosed arrows without hesitation. Even in close combat, they held back slightly. Without that, not even Guojing's formidable prowess could have broken through. He felt his mother's body growing colder in his arms. Fighting back tears, he urged his horse southward. The pursuers gradually fell behind, but daylight was breaking. He was deep in Mongol territory, thousands of miles from the central plains, alone on a single horse. How could he escape and return to his homeland? Before long, a new dust cloud rose ahead. Another cavalry unit charging toward him. Guojing quickly turned his horse east. But the mount, having galloped through the night and taken wounds, could go no further. Its front legs buckled beneath it, and it collapsed, unable to rise again. Okay, the horse, the VIP. Think we need a. Did it die? It died, right? Though the situation was critical, Guojing still could not bring himself to abandon his mother's body. He cradled her with his left arm, grasped his broken spear in his right, and turned to face the oncoming enemy. As the cavalry drew close, he heard a faint whistling amid the dust. An arrow zipped toward him and struck the tip of his spear. The force was so tremendous that the spear shuddered in his hand and snapped clean off at the tip. A second arrow flew straight at his chest. Guojing flung away the spear and caught the arrow bare-handed, only to find the arrowhead had been deliberately blunted. Startled, he looked up and saw a general pull his troops to a halt and ride forward alone. It was the divine archer, Jebe, the very man who had once taught him archery. Guojing called out, "Master, you've come to take me back?" Jebe replied, "That's right." Guojing thought, "I'm not getting out of this alive today. If I must be captured, better by my own master. Let him take the credit." He said, "Very well, but let me bury my mother first." He glanced around and saw a small earthen hill to the left. Carrying his mother's body, he climbed to the top and used the broken spear to dig a shallow grave. He gently laid her body inside. Seeing the dagger still buried in her chest, he couldn't bring himself to pull it out. Kneeling, he bowed several times, then scooped up soil with both hands to cover her. Thinking of her lifetime of hardship, raising him alone in the bitter north, only to die and be buried in this foreign land, it hurt so much, the tears wouldn't even come. Jebe leapt down from his horse and knelt before Li Ping's grave, bowing 4 times. Then he handed Guojing his quiver of arrows, his iron bow, and his spear, and led his own horse over, placing the reins in Guojing's hand. "Go," he said. "I fear we'll never meet again." Guojing was taken aback. "Master," Jebe said, "back then you risked your life to save mine. Am I not a man of honor? Should I not be willing to do the same for you?" Guojing said, "Master, disobeying the great Khan's command is no small matter." Jebe replied, "I fought east and west, won no small number of battles. At worst, the Khan will have me flogged. He won't take my head. Now go, quickly." Guojing still hesitated. Jebe said, "I worry that my troops may not obey, but these men I brought today, they're all your old comrades from the Western campaign. Go ask them yourself. Will they trade your life for wealth?" Guojing led the horse over. As he approached, the soldiers all dismounted and bowed low. "We respectfully bid the general farewell on his journey south." That's a bold assumption. Yeah, true. Guojing looked around. Sure enough, they were all former subordinates who had fought and bled at his side. Moved, he said, "I have wronged the great Khan and deserve severe punishment. If you let me go, once he finds out, you'll suffer for it." The soldiers said, "The general's kindness to us is as deep as the mountains. We dare not betray it." Guojing sighed, raised a hand in farewell, and mounted his horse, spear in hand. Just as he was about to ride off, a dust cloud rose ahead. Another cavalry unit was approaching. Jebe, Guojing, and the soldiers all turned pale. Jebe thought, "I'm already risking punishment by letting Guojing go, but if we draw swords against our own, that would be outright rebellion." He shouted, "Guojing, go, now!" Suddenly, from the front ranks came a cry, "Don't harm the prince consort!" The crowd paused in surprise as the army approached, flying the banner of the 4th prince. Through the dust, Tolui galloped forward on Guojing's little red horse. Yay! In a flash, he was there. He dismounted and said, "Anda, are you hurt?" Guojing said, "No. Master Jebe was just about to take me to see the great Khan." He deliberately covered for Jebe, so the Khan won't learn the truth. Tolui gave Jebe a sidelong glance, then turned back and said, Anda, ride this little red horse and go. He placed the bundle on the saddle. Here are 1,000 taels of gold, you and I, until we meet again. Men of valor have no need for many words in a moment like this. Guojing vaulted onto the red horse and said, Tell Princess Huazheng to take care of herself. She should marry someone else and forget about me. Tolui sighed deeply. Huazheng will never marry another. I believe she'll follow you south. When that time comes, I'll send people to protect her. Guojing quickly said, No, she mustn't come looking for me. The world is vast. She may never find me. And if we did meet again, it would only bring more sorrow. Tolui fell silent. The two looked at each other without speaking. After a while, Tolui said, Go, I'll ride with you a while. They galloped south together, side by side, for over 30 li. Guojing said, Anda, when one escorts a friend 1,000 miles, they must part eventually. Please, return now. Tolui said, I'll ride a bit farther. They went another 10 li, then dismounted, bowed deeply to each other, and parted with tears. Tolui watched Guojing's silhouette grow smaller in the vast desert, shrinking into a black dot on the horizon until it vanished. He stood there, gazing silently toward the southern sky for a long time, before finally turning back with a heavy heart. All right. What did you guys think of that? That was a good chapter. Good ass chapter. Sad for the mom, okay, but I think it was a good death. It was very proper. I approve. Yeah, well, I guess now Guojing is off the hook. He doesn't have to marry Huazheng anymore. This is gonna wrap up in a crazy way. Maybe. This is only chapter 38. We got 2 more chapters. What other things are gonna happen? Freaking Ouyang Feng better learn his fake martial arts and go crazy or something. The more you think of it, it's beyond a bold assumption. Yeah. There's a sequel, so maybe not. No, this story will wrap up. Yeah, it's a full story with an ending. The sequel is kind of a sequel. Yeah, well, I guess I shouldn't say much. But yeah, the story here is going to wrap up. Okay, but maybe some crazy things are coming. Who else is left? There's Ouyang Feng. Wen Yan Honglia also already died. Is Ouyang Feng our final enemy? It's a trilogy, yeah. It's just Ouyang Feng, right? Everyone else is gone. Yeah, so I guess in the next two chapters, we're going to deal with Ouyang Feng. All right. Well, I'm excited. The story is hurtling towards the finish line. And it's getting exciting. All right, guys. Hope you come next week. I love you. I will see you next time. All right. Bye.